Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about The Smashing Machine. And this movie came out in 2025, and it's directed by Benny Safdie, no Josh Safdie this time. And this movie stars Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Emily Blunt. And I thought this movie was decent. And Benny Safdie is one of the directors of Good Time and Uncut Gems, two movies that I really love and I think are pretty great, and you should definitely check those movies out. And also, this movie was nominated for an Oscar. I think it was just makeup and hairstyling. And I'm not sure if it was nominated for anything else. But this came out the same year as Marty Supreme, which was directed by Josh Safdie. And I personally love Marty Supreme. I would definitely watch that again in a heartbeat. I just got so much out of that movie. And this one was kind of a mix between that movie and The Wrestler. I was getting some wrestler vibes while watching this movie. Also, something that was quite different from this movie compared to any of the other Safdie movies that I just mentioned is that those movies are very fast paced, at least for me, and they just fly by and they're very high energy and just do not stop. Where this one is a bit more slower paced and character focused and also kind of relaxed in a sense. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's nice to see something different. But unfortunately, compared to those other movies that I really love that I just mentioned, just way messier and didn't really leave that much of an emotional impact on me. And I enjoyed the movie overall. It's just for the first half of this movie, I was appreciating it more than I actually kind of liked it. Like, I liked how it was shot. It definitely has the style of a Safdie movie that I really like. Lots of close shots to give you a feeling of claustrophobia, and it definitely works. It also has good soundtrack choices that complement the film as well. And I enjoyed the third act in terms of what it was going for, and like I said earlier, I like the second half better than the first half. I just feel as though there's more to chew on and for me to take away from in the second half than in the first half. The story was decent. There are some good characters in this film as well. And I also thought Emily Blunt was great in this movie. Like, I didn't see Emily Blunt in this movie, I saw a character, and I think that's a really great thing. And Dwayne Johnson in this movie, he was fine for most of it. He was good enough for the role, but there are plenty of moments where it just left a lot to be desired. Like there was a moment where he was supposed to be crying and he just covers his face with a blanket. And when that was happening, I was trying to hold back from laughing because I just didn't really see a character. I just saw The Rock. Like, it was like very distracting, and I just wish that it was a bit better. And there are parts where he gets things across just fine. And that's how I feel about him for most of the movie at the very least. Like, worst case scenario, he's just fine, but when he's supposed to emote, I don't really buy it. Like, when he's sad, it just kind of feels a bit forced. And also, with the slower pacing of this movie, it kind of felt longer than Marty Supreme, where that movie flies by and it's 2.5 hours long, whereas this movie, it's 2 hours long and it feels it. Like, I didn't really feel as though the movie was moving along at a fast pace. Like, I didn't feel as though the movie was really keeping me engaged for the runtime. I just feel as though there was some fat that could have been trimmed. Also, there are some scenes that are kind of pointless and just go on for a while where there's like nothing happening, and there's some drama that just felt forced and almost out of nowhere. I was like, why is this happening? This doesn't feel like it belongs here. If it was supposed to be here and feel natural, it just felt like it came out of nowhere. There was no like proper build up to these dramatic moments. That was kind of weird and also unfortunate because I was really waiting for something great to happen in this movie, and there are great things about this movie, but overall, it didn't really connect with me, and I just didn't really feel a whole lot of emotion while watching this movie. It was just kind of me passively watching it and me being like, yep, that's decent, that works. There's nothing particularly bad about what I'm being shown here. It's just not something that's connecting with me. Whereas in other Safdie movies, sure, similar things are happening in terms of how the story is being presented, but the overall package of those movies, I just don't feel that way. The movie is well made overall, and that's probably its biggest strength, but the entire time I just wished I was watching The Wrestler by Darren Aronofsky, and how much more that movie worked for me. Because if I want to watch a, I guess, sports movie that has kind of a slower pace to it, or at least the pacing that feels like this movie, I would just rather watch The Wrestler. I feel as though that movie does everything that this movie's trying to do, but just better. And also, with the main character having like a drug addiction, I just feel as though that was kind of all over the place because in some scenes it was like, okay, I understand what you're going for, but in other scenes it just felt like it came out of nowhere and didn't need to be there. And I also feel as though it wasn't properly explored. Like, maybe you could have done more with that, but it's only in a few scenes and it hardly feels consequential in the overall package of the story. And it feels like they're going to do something with it when it's brought up in the 30-minute mark, I believe. Like, that's when it's a major deal. But unfortunately for the rest of the movie, it just is kind of there, half being addressed. But, and when I say half being addressed, I mean, I'm talking about from the perspective of what the film shows us and the story, not the characters. And because the perspective of the story doesn't really give much of a focus on it, it just feels like it's wasting my time, unfortunately. And I was like, okay, that happened. And when things happen in the story, it became kind of difficult to care. And that's about all I have to say about The Smashing Machine. Well-made movie, it's just the script is kind of a mess, and I just wish things were a bit tighter and overall just fleshed out a bit better. Maybe if this movie was longer and things were fleshed out better, maybe I would enjoy it a lot more. Maybe if it was 2.5 hours or longer, I would have enjoyed it more. If that's the version of the movie that would have fleshed everything out properly. But unfortunately, that's not the movie that we got. Instead, we got this kind of flat Benny Safdie film that works at times but doesn't at others. So check this movie out if this sounds interesting to you. I know I kind of sounded negative while talking about it, but I did enjoy the movie overall, and it's currently on HBO Max, so if you are looking to check it out, there's a way to do so, and it's a good movie overall. And with all that being said, I'm going to give The Smashing Machine a very generous 6 out of 10. There's a part of me that kind of wants to give it a 5, but what bumps it up for me is the overall general presentation of it and having some good scenes that I did like. And I do feel as though it makes up in the second half of the film. And that's really what makes me say, yeah, this is a good movie. Not saying that the second half of this movie is incredible or anything. It just goes from, okay, this is fine to, okay, this is decent. That's how I felt. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of The Smashing Machine, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Happy End. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.